Welcome back, YouTube viewers, to the 2008 Cleveland Browns Bash. I'm your host, AJ, here with the Week 5 and 6 edition of the show. As you know, our Browns had a bye last week, so here we are with our Monday night matchup against the New York Giants looming ahead. But first, we will cover Week 4, in which we beat the Cincinnati Bengals 20-12. We scored 17 points in the fourth quarter. We also had 134 rushing yards. And we played well on defense, 3 interceptions, 2 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles, both of which that we recovered. I pretty much called it. Our defense and running game really won us the game. Derek Anderson looked bad most of the game. The fourth quarter, starting with the drive that ended with the Braylon Edwards touchdown. After that, during that drive and after that drive, Derek Anderson was looking pretty good. More confident, really, but I'm surprised Romeo Crennel didn't take him out at halftime. On defense, Mike Adams, I really liked what he was doing. He was just all over the ball. It seemed wherever the ball was, he was there. And then Alex Hall, he had that forced fumble at the end. Great play there. We've saved our season essentially, but now we have to extend that. It's definitely not a one-game process, obviously. This game against the Giants is going to be near impossible for us to win. I mean, just looking at it, and I'll go over that in a minute, but, I mean, we just have to try to find a way, because at 1-3, we're still on our last ropes. Carson Palmer did not play. I was talking about, last time you guys saw me, I was talking about Carson Palmer. I did not know that he was even questionable, and then he ended up getting scratched before the game. The Browns have tied their all-time series now against the Bengals 35-35. And also in my picks, I'm now 3-1 picking straight up, and I'm 2-2 picking with points. So, let's get into our matchup against the Giants on Monday night. And, my first key is a pessimistic one, but at the same time, it's a realistic goal, and that is to try to avoid being murdered. The Giants' offense ranks first in the NFL so far this season with 431 yards per game. Their defense ranks third in the NFL so far this season, allowing 236 yards per game. Compare that to Cleveland's offensive and defensive stats. 211 yards per game on offense, which is 32nd in the NFL, and 313 yards allowed per game on defense, which is 15th allowed in the NFL, which is not that bad. Like I said, I think our defense has been underrated so far this season, especially the last 3 games. But still 15th in the NFL. I mean, underrated. They were not expected to be that good. But depending on the viewpoint, I guess. But anyway, comparing those stats to the Giants' stats, this game looks to be one of the biggest mismatches of the year so far. I mean, it's up to our Browns to try to keep the Giants' offense in check, and it's up to our offense to avoid making the big mistakes that'll lead to big plays for the Giants. I always stress that. Obviously, that's just one of the fundamentals. Don't turn the ball over. Then my next key is find the Giants' weakness with a question mark, because I personally don't know if they have a weakness, at least not right now. Unfortunately for the Browns, the Giants' biggest weakness on paper is that they rank 6th in the league in passing yards. That's their biggest weakness, that they rank 6th in a category. There's really not any key to focus on when planning against the Giants. It's definitely a very difficult game plan to make. They're just so dominant and well-rounded in pretty much every dimension of the game. The only things I can say will be at least semi-effective, maybe, is to be cautious on defense, which is a very vague statement, but what I mean by that is don't send too many guys after Eli Manning, because if you send too many, he'll defer to Brad Jacobs, who, by the way, leads the NFL's best rushing attack, the team rushing attack in the Giants, who average 181 rushing yards per game. Or he could also, throw a quick pass that could burn us. And also, though, if we don't send enough guys and give them all day, he'll pick our secondary apart. So just play very cautious defense. Like I said, don't send too many, but make sure you at least send an extra guy or 2. I mean, it's a very vague statement, but at the same time, I mean, what can you do? I mean, you're playing one of the best teams in the NFL. Definitely, I mean, arguably the best team in the NFL. Also, the defending Super Bowl champions. Then on offense, stick to the running game. Now, this is kind of a controversial statement. Well, maybe not controversial. Some people might see it as a stupid statement because the Giants allow this season so far 82 rushing yards per game, which is obviously very good. But I'm sticking with the ground game theory because the Giants' pass rush will destroy Derek Anderson if we keep passing. We need to make sure we get the ground game not just integrated. We need to rely on the ground game. I mean, obviously, if it's not working and if you're losing and it's, in the second half and you need to start going through the air, I don't know. I just know for a fact that we need to get it to Jamal Lewis as much as we can to avoid Derek Anderson becoming a tackling dummy. I'm just so afraid of that. I'm just so afraid of the preseason game, the first quarter of the preseason game against the Giants. You know what I'm talking about. I am so afraid of that becoming a reality in a regular season game on Monday Night Football in front of a national audience. Wow. My third and final key is to play into the spotlight, which is a little strange because back in week 1 I said don't focus on the spotlight, young team, don't need to be overconfident. But you know what? We haven't looked very excited to be playing football so far this season, so you know what? Throw that out the window and just get as pumped up as you can, play into the spotlight, get excited because, we need just to get pumped up. I mean, I just want to see this team lively. We finally got a win, even if it was against the lowly Bengals, who, by the way, this Fitzpatrick kid that they were playing at quarterback, I am so surprised he's a second-string quarterback. He was just awful. And we only beat the team by 8 points, but you know what? It was a win. It was a win. We just need to build on it, get excited, and, this is our first Monday Night Football game in 5 years. So, we have nothing to lose at this point. Just play, be excited, and I've said that probably about 5 times. Just, notes and numbers. The Browns lead the all-time series against the Giants 26-20-2. This game will be the first ever meeting between the two teams on Monday. And this Monday Night Football game, as I just said, will be the first that Cleveland has played in since 2003. And breaking news, Dante Stallworth is listed as probable on the injury report. Hopefully he plays. We haven't seen him in action yet. It's disappointing. I mean, obviously it was a pre-game injury to his hamstring, so, that's just one of those things. Hopefully he gets going here against the Giants. Now, my pick is a realistic pick, as mine normally are. I'm going with the Giants by 17 points. I specified above earlier the differences in the stats of Cleveland and New York, and it's just a very wide range, a very wide margin, and that's not to mention the injuries that the Browns are still trying to heal up. And now we got Kellen Winslow in the hospital. I mean, it is just one thing after another. I thought the bye week would give us a chance to heal, but it really has not seemed to help a whole lot. The Giants, this is another reason for my big spread. They're trying to repeat as NFL champions, while the Browns are arguably the biggest disappointment this season, which is really sad to say. But for the expectations, I truly hope that our Browns make this game a turning point in this young season. I just don't know. I'm sticking with the Giants by 17, and I hope I'm wrong. I've said that now against the Cowboys and against the Steelers, but I really do hope I'm wrong this time. A win against the Bengals puts us in the win column. Whoop. We're 1-3 now, and I got the Giants to beat us by 17. But, as I always say, go Browns, all my heart. Hopefully we get another win and go to 2-3, because it doesn't get any easier. We travel to Washington next week, and then I believe it's Jacksonville. Then it's back home for, I believe, we play, I forget who we play right when we get back, but then we play Baltimore. It doesn't get any easier. And this is the 2008 Cleveland Browns Bash, Week 5 and 6 edition. I will see you guys next week, hopefully talking about a big Browns win.